Welcome to the Raya Karen podcast, a sacred space to breathe, reflect, and connect. I'm Raya, an intuitive guide, retreat host, a soul companion of this wild, beautiful journey of healing and becoming. After decades in the world of frontline work, trauma support, and traditional therapy, I chose to follow a deeper calling, the one rooted in nature, intuition, and the wisdom of the body and soul. In this podcast is for women walking through fire and still carrying light in their eyes. It's for the helpers, the healers, the caregivers, and the cycle breakers who are craving rest, truth, and a place to remember who they are beneath the roles, the weight, and the noise. Each week, we'll sit and circle together through storytelling, conversations, solo reflections, and gentle invitations to explore healing, grief, soul purpose, midlife transitions, nervous system nourishment, and the sacred medicine of the elements and the seasons of nature. May this space be your reminder. You are not alone. You are not too much. You are right on time. Take a breath, drop your shoulders, and come home to your heart, to your knowing, to yourself. Take a breath. You have arrived. Welcome, everybody. We've got another amazing, beautiful guest here with us today and sharing space and energy, Lesley FORNELLI of the West Coast of BC. She is an intuitive guide, perimenopause energetic specialist, which is very exciting to dive deeper into that. She helps create that mind-body coherence through EFT tapping. She's kind of a trailblazer on this one. And she's offering different body brilliance programs, retreats, soulful circles, gathering women together to really unlearn a lot of things, learn a lot of new things, let go of a lot of different heaviness that we're all kind of carrying in this era of our life. And she's got a lot of background also as a teacher, and which brings a lot of really great skills into this field as well. And she's an advanced numerologist, which who does not love numerology? It's amazing. And she has two amazing boys and is just living life to her own tune. So we're going to learn some amazing things today and some more details about who Lesley is and what she's offering and what's brought her into this amazing field of really helping women during one of the biggest transitions of life. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so cool to have that reflected back to me, being like, ooh, just like full body chills. Yes, love it.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Hey, like it's interesting to hear about yourself and go, oh yeah, I actually do that work. This is kind of cool. Like this is where I'm headed. So, I mean, I've just come out of a really cool energetic space with you, and we can get into that in a little bit. But what I want to know is kind of through life and through your own journey of many things of traveling and teaching and all this stuff, what brought you to this space of working intuitively and energetically with women during this perimenopausal stage, which can last anywhere from 7 to 10 years. It's a big chunk of time. What what was the inspiration or what brought you into that specific space?
The very quick answer, I think, is just my own journey. I've
Yes.
been working with women in energetics, in emotional freedom techniques for almost 5 years. And just being open to the journey, just following the nudges and finding myself in perimenopause and realizing that we are the pioneers. We are the first generation where we are openly talking about it. And
Yes.
even just in the last 2 years, has it been like this prevalent conversation for us? And also noticing that there is a massive gap
Mhm.
in women tuning into their energy, tuning into their womb codes, tuning into the coding
Yeah.
that we need to release in order to fully embrace this most incredible portal of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because you realize, I think, that you've kind of been on autopilot and kind of just go, 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 go. And then you hit this stage and it's like this huge shift, and we don't know what to do with it because it kind of comes at you with not just one thing, but usually there is just this catapult of all these pieces coming emotionally, physically, spiritually, and then we start to go, and I get goosebumps, but we start to go back, like you took us in this recent group, back to where our hormones did change and things did start to be different, because there is that connection back to that version of us who went from a little girl into a young lady, and then it kind of builds on from there, depending on also what we were taught, what we were shown, our past, our lineage, the women, our grandmothers and aunts and mothers, and all of those pieces. All these little strings and belief systems are attached to all this, into our womb, into our female body. And I don't think we realize that. We have no clue until we hit this and we're like, what truck just ran over us? Like, what is going on, right?
Yeah,
It,
absolutely. And up until this point in our life, we've been able to muscle through. We've
yeah,
been able to suppress, hide, um, and become masterful at it. Really, like become absolute perfectionists, which is
mhm,
an interesting thing that's coming
yeah,
through, but perfectionists in masking, in being who we were told that we should be. And then there's this incredible opportunity as our hormones shift again,
yeah,
that we aren't able to suppress it anymore.
no,
Like the rage outbursts and just this incredible feeling that I'm tired of it. I don't want to just like go through the motions in someone that I'm not. And then in perimenopause, how that really shows up again in those like rage outbursts. But really, I think the biggest one is this unfulfillment.
yeah,
This women in our era are just like, is this it?
yeah,
This is what I've been working toward. This is like, I know we've had a conversation before, like we were promised this finish line, this like happily ever after, this like do all the right things, be the right person, and then you will get your happily ever after. And we arrive here looking around for the finish line and are like, what a bunch of malarkey. Weird. I've never used that word before.
right. It's so interesting because you see, so, and then you arrive and you realize that there's just all these things that don't make any sense anymore, and maybe they made sense in the past, but now you're like, well, like, I don't want to actually be this person. I don't know who I am. You're uncovering this new version that's coming forward very boldly, very,
Very
very
bold.
boldly. Like, she's like, I'm holding no bars, no bullshit. Like, I am coming on strong, right?
Yes.
And it's so interesting because we don't know how to give ourselves permission to uncover or discover, to understand. And it's not that we don't want to give ourselves permission, because um but we're just, it's such a strong piece that is just not known, and like you said, not talked about. It's that be seen and not heard. Suck it up and deal with it. Go have your mental breakdown in the coffee room and come back to work and deal with your shit. Like, or keep doing that career that you're unhappy and you're bitchy every day you go, and you're just doing the things, you're not aligned anymore. It's like, now we're going, oh, but we can pivot and go that way. We can try this new thing. We can be this new version. We can step into our true essence of who we're becoming in this stage of life. A lot of women that are in perimenopause have, older children that are leaving the home, or you've got teenagers who are, they're full blown in their hormones and all their things, and your parents are aging and you're losing people in your life and all these big, massive things. It's not just about perimenopause. There are all these other things that are in there, and this is where you see women walking away, throwing their hands up and saying, I am done. I cannot do this. I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be a wife. I don't want to be anybody. I want to go to the woods and get lost, and I don't want to do this. So, like, obviously, you've seen a lot of these tough challenges, and you're working with people in these very challenging and energetically shifting pieces. What is there a key piece that they're coming to you with, or is it all kind of a blend of what we've been chatting about, or is there something that they're just going, light bulb moment, I need help, I can't do this?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's that really the common piece is that unfulfillment.
Yeah.
And that can be showing up in their life, in their relationship, like with their partner. It
Yeah.
is a big one.
Yeah.
And then body brilliance, really focusing on this physical weight. That's another big one that
Yeah.
women are coming to me for. I think it is just that it is just all of a sudden being like, who am I? That's the other piece. Being like, I woke up today and realized, like, what do I like? Who am I? What's my next half of life going to look like? And not knowing.
Yeah.
So it's such an interesting time, and an interesting time that we have been taught again to silence,
Yeah.
to fear, to like fade into the background. And it actually is the absolute opposite. As you know, like we have gathered wisdom our whole lives and through our DNA and through past lives
Yeah.
to harness this.
Yeah.
So it's not um I think in our group actually today, I was saying, like, this isn't an era to tolerate.
Yeah.
This is an era to celebrate, to embrace, to have our full expansion.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because, if you think back, I mean, it depends how far back you want to go, but I mean, women have always sat in circle historically, and they've always gathered together. They've supported one another in all the generations. And I mean, maybe, a couple hundred years ago, it was seen as witchy or woo woo. And there's all of those pieces too. Like, it's like, oh, well, you dare to do this and you're a witch and you're burned at the stake. And like, we don't realize all of those pieces come down the lineage and are given to us in our DNA. And now, well, what I'm seeing is really beautiful is more women are going, actually, I want to gather.
Yeah.
I want my soul tribe. And my soul tribe looks different than it did in my 20s and my 30s and maybe, my early 40s, and we're craving something different. And I think we're craving it because it's already within us. We just haven't known how to ask for it. And then, you were talking about the womb codes. Just I wrote that down because that just fascinates me. And I really don't know a lot about it. But you think about, most of us have had, that's been passed down to us. And then we've also had a lot go on in our women parts. We've had babies, we've grown human beings in our bodies, and some of us have not had great experiences. Some of us have had super traumatic births. Some of us have a super traumatic, periods and experiences and all kind of body image stuff and all this. Like it is a load that is really, really, really heavy. And you're helping people going, hey, like grab a seat. Let me teach you how to unpack some of this stuff and let's let it go, and giving that invitation and that safe space to do that.
Mhm.
Fascinating. So if you could, like with the womb codes, is there I mean, I'm sure it's not a brief explanation, but could you give me an idea of like when you say that, what does that mean? Like, what is that? If somebody's curious of what womb codes are.
Mm-hmm. I think really briefly, it is just this energetic memory, this energetic collection, this holding on
Hmm.
that is so incredibly wise and so incredibly powerful that we have been taught to ignore and then also suppress. So there's when in Body Brilliance, we were talking about when you first start your menstruation and just to think about where were you? What was life before? And then the moment that came in, were you taught about it? Did your mother share about it or aunts or sisters or what did that look like? What was the secrecy around it? That was something really big that came in our community is that
Yeah.
secrecy, the hiding, the masking to the shame around that time that hasn't been expressed from the body.
Yeah. And
And sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, and that starts showing up in many ways, right?
Absolutely. And this is this whole thing as you're talking about lineage, as we're talking about DNA, is that there is this remembering
Hmm.
that stirs up in this time of life with our hormone shifts. And I truly believe that as we start to as we stop having our menstruation, as we stop bleeding, or as our body is preparing that to happen, we have all of this energy that is used to be going outside of the body for others.
Yeah.
So we're having menstruation in preparation to create babies, to birth babies, to then take care of babies, all of this thing outside of the body. And like you say, no matter what your experience around this is, there is an experience, whether you've had a
Yeah.
baby or not, whether you've tried and it hasn't happened. If you've
Yeah.
decided not to,
Yeah.
no matter where you are under that umbrella,
Yeah.
there is this hiding that happens. And then my brain just forgot. My brain
Well,
just
and I think that, women are I feel like they're coming out of hiding. They're
yeah.
like, I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to live the life that everybody thinks I should live and I'm told to live. I want to live with brilliance and with, this different energy. Like they can feel it shifting and coming through them and pushing. And, it's, I mean, I've been doing this now. I just turned 50 and I've been doing this since I was 42. As far as I know, that's as far back as I can kind of start to link it. And it's been one hell of a bumpy ride. Holy cow.
Mm,
But now, as I'm sitting at where I am now, and I'm like, oh my God, like I wish I would have known what I know now that many years ago. I wasn't going crazy. I wasn't, falling off the face of the earth and going, what the hell is going on with me? Like there was just so many questions, like anxiety out of nowhere, panic
mm,
attacks, not wanting to leave the house, not wanting to drive anywhere, go on a plane. Like you don't realize all of these things, and then you want to go within, and then you can't completely because you've got all these responsibilities. And so you're trying to understand the journey, and you still have everything else that is expected of you,
mhm,
all these roles and all these responsibilities, and there's something that's happening, and you actually are so busy doing that you don't have a chance to be with it and understand what it is.
mhm,
And like you said, only in the last couple years has this whole container opened up for women.
mhm,
No, it's the shame is starting to, you know, be able to we're able to put that aside. The sense of understanding and wonder and this coherence with our body and these, different things are coming forward. And I'm going like, I can just imagine how much better and easier it's going to get for women and what we're going to see. Like it's, you call it such a big expansion. And it's not just on one level. Like you're seeing people expand in all directions, right?
Totally. Absolutely. And like how we're the trailblazers in this. Like we are creating this environment for all women to
Yeah.
come. And that feels so powerful and a little bit intimidating sometimes, but also so important
Yeah.
is the main piece. Yeah.
And it's beautiful because you are taking, some traditional kind of experience and teaching, but then you're taking, also the intuition, which I find women at this age and in this part of life, that intuition is on fire. Like it's starting to come in like you've never imagined.
Yeah.
And then you're adding, EFT, and you're bringing people in circle, and you're also taking people on retreat, and um helping people to land in a very different way.
Yeah.
Like it's Do you find that with your intuition as well? Like it's really in the last few years has just come on board and is on fire.
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
what does that look like? What does it feel
For
like? What does it look like?
Um, for me, has always been there,
Yeah.
as for all of us, but just this creating a relationship with that,
Yeah.
creating that like psychic connection, this voice, this knowing, this feeling that I've always had,
Yeah.
and having the trust in self to listen to it, releasing the fear of what happens if you listen to it. Talk about like past lives and being burnt at the stake.
Yeah.
um and also just that piece that oh yeah, and this is what I forgot in regards to like menstruation and getting our bodies ready to not move, push that energy out. We have all this energy within self now.
Yeah.
And I think that is exactly creating this beautiful portal into this deep knowing, which is also putting a little bit of gas on this fire of unfulfillment, because we know what we're meant to do. We know how we're meant to move and feel and experience, and the majority of women get to this point and are like not even close.
Yeah.
And listening to the messages, feeling the intuition in the body, hearing the soul's calling louder than ever before. And I think for me, that is my belief, is that because this energy is now staying in the body.
Yeah. And where it's not going to all these hundred other places, right? We're not yeah, it's very interesting because, and I don't know if you've noticed this too, um I think there's that kind of that disconnect in that there, like you're seeing a lot of relationship stuff because we have been all these other versions and we get to this point and there's so many things, and it's interesting for the men to understand and to witness us if they can witness us and see this, like, uncovering and this wise, beautiful wisdom that's coming through. And this, they're not seeing us going crazy or doing these things. They're actually seeing us awaken. They're going to get to know a brand new version of us who, is so wide open and is not afraid to answer that call and to see that. And I think I'm hoping that that's going to come forward too, as more and more partners and men, and even you've got sons, so they're witnessing you go through this too. So my daughter's witnessing me, so it's interesting. I'm hoping that that legacy and that living from that place of truth and that calling is going to invite them to a deeper understanding as well, right? And do you find you're helping women open up these conversations with their partners and their families as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like my boys. My boys are 11 and 13, so we're all moving through big energy or hormonal and energy
Yeah.
hormonal shifts together. And it's so interesting, you know, to have a conversation. My kids being like, what is perimenopause? What is menopause? And having a conversation with my 11 and 13-year-old son about what it is.
Yeah.
And here we are coming into this time of life, just learning about it now. And like, what a beautiful opportunity. It's just, it's so cool. And in regards to the partner, it's so interesting because there's been so much learned behavior in the shame and blame in relationships with women in our era. Not everybody, but so much shame and blame. And we come to this point, and it is an invitation inward. Yes, it has so much to do with our partners, 100%. But my sessions are forever the invitation to come back into self, to come back into that. At the root of it, it is this fear of not belonging.
Yeah. Or not being good enough, or not being worthy, or like I just that's a hard one. Like when your physical body changes, you're not who you were when you were 20 or 30, and you find yourself with this extra protection, this extra layers, and you just sometimes you don't want to be seen. And so it's really hard to share what that actually physically and spiritually feels like inside the body to your partner. It's not easy to say these things. Like, I don't know what the hell to do with this 10 pounds a day and not going anywhere, or 20 or 30 or whatever. Is, yes, it's a number, but as we were talking about, it's this protection layer of so many versions of us. Holy cow, this is going to get me going. But so many versions of us. And we're trying to figure out now how to actually take it layer by layer, and we don't need the protection anymore. We don't need to carry around this stuff, but we have been carrying everybody's layers and everybody's shit for so long. This is huge. It's not simple. It doesn't happen overnight. And when we're living fully for who we are here to be, to that calling, it's hard to express that. Even to our friends, to our parents, to our kids, to our partners. And that's why I feel like, because it's hard to articulate it, there's so many, divides of relationships. There's so many things that happen because it's not easy.
Yeah. No. And
Right?
there isn't a quick fix. Our whole lives we have been told that if we play by the rules, then everything will be fine. Or if you do this, then this will happen, right? If you reduce your calories and increase your exercise, then the weight will come off. But we are dealing with more than that. We are dealing with the body, and that's why I call that experience body brilliance, because our body is so brilliant. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's protecting us. And it is such an interesting time with people around us, because we are navigating this. We don't even know what is happening. So it is this real test or invitation for more communication, for I don't know what's going on, and this is what it may be in relationship, in whatnot. And it is an incredible time of divorce, like midlife crisis, the whole 9 yards, right? And what's that?
It's huge.
Yeah, totally.
Around, right? It's
totally.
big,
And it is like you said before, like it feels the easiest just to burn it all down and walk away from it. That really does, because it feels like it needs something drastic.
Yeah.
Because we're so shifted out of being able to control and mask.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to look at this stat again, but the stat of the suicide rate with women in this midlife is extremely high.
It is. Yeah.
And if that's not a huge marker in how drastic this can feel
Mhm.
without the conversations, without the circles, without the support, without the knowing of what's going on right now.
Yeah. It can be very, and the word that's coming in is very devastating,
Mm,
as everything that you've thought you've known or you thought you've understood becomes, it doesn't even become relevant in this stage. And because you are expanding and you're changing, but it, one of the biggest things, it's not just about the extra layers, but the how it is affecting our brain and the way we think and the neural pathways and like all the things that are happening. And that's what was really fascinating to me, is that is where you're seeing, the depression and the suicide and the anxiety out, the like a crazy amount of it, and all these things that are happening, you forget things. And like, I know for me, I was, always had that Rolodex for a brain. I could, like, it's in there, I could pull it out. And forgetting the simplest things, you feel like you're crazy and you're stupid. And it's like, I have never felt this way before in my life. I've
mm-hmm.
always been known, where's my sock? Where's this? Where's that? Who da 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 da? Like, you can answer all the questions.
Yeah.
And then you get to this point and you're like, what is wrong with my mind?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they don't talk, that wasn't talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and that is so overwhelming when and I think it's because we've had to carry it all and be all things and be all roles and be all, and we're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's very, we're teaching and encouraging women in circle, in retreat, in these beautiful containers to come within. We talked about existing outside of the body. It's like, oh, that's getting too hard, I am leaving my body.
That's right.
Hell no, I'm not doing this, right? And if we can give that invitation to come back in, it's not like you have to hide and you have to be here, but just come in, come home,
Mm-hmm.
learn to be, grounding in nature, going through some tapping, some breath work, sitting and sharing stories in circle, and just empowering yourself to be in this space.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, it's interesting because I've experienced that, and of that, leaving the body because it gets too hard. And I mean, everybody, we all do it. We've all done it,
Absolutely.
right? Because it's not easy to figure out something you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Right.
I feel like through the womb and
Yeah.
it feels safer to leave the body. Just like I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave it this much. I'm gonna leave it this much. I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave it this much. And then now we're really she's communicating with us. She's
Yeah.
like, you need to pay attention to me. And
Yeah.
it can feel very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
Well, and I think too, what comes into for me is that trauma response.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, it can be all kind there's little T trauma, there's big T trauma, there's everything in between. So if we've had something, and that's what we were taught, you were saying in the beginning, when we started our menstrual time, there's a lot riding around that. What happened, what was talked about, what wasn't, all these things. And if there was a big trauma in that era, we are now here in our 40s and 50s healing that.
And living our lives through that lens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think some of us have forgotten those pieces. We've tucked it away. We've kind of shoved it down because we had all these roles to play and all these things to do. And when we get here, we're going like, what is happening? I mean, almost every woman talks about it. Where did that 10 pounds come from? Like, I just turned 40. What? Or,
Yeah.
and it's like your body going, okay, like, I want you to listen. Are
Mm-hmm.
you listening? Because I'm just going to add this, or I'm going to show you this, or and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess we're coming into a space where we're ready to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that intuition's always been there. Now we're diving deep.
Yeah. Learning to trust it.
And if there hasn't been trust, or if something has happened, then it's harder to trust. And we sometimes have forgotten how to trust our own spirit, our own soul.
Oh my gosh, we are taught not to. We have spent in our culture, I'll loop
Yeah.
us. We everything. We do not we are not encouraged. In fact, we're like punished in certain ways not to listen to our intuition, not to color outside the lines, to stay in that beige box, right? Not too much, not too little, like be a little bit seen but not enough, right? Just
Yeah.
and then all of that is tamped down. So between like the main womb codes have taught us that it is not safe to be expressed.
Yes.
It is not safe to be in your full power because then it brings all sorts of harmful attention. So, however that looked like for you when you started menstruating, however
Yeah.
that looked like for you when you became sexually active, and whatever your experience with babies is, and as we touched on before, whatever it is,
Hmm.
those are incredibly pivotal. Those are the codes that we now are living, have been living by, and
Yes.
now are ready to, like you say, just tiny little layers, piece by piece.
So when you're bringing the tapping in, because we've just gone through this 7-day challenge with you with Body
Mm-hmm.
Brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
So that is helping you to disrupt, is the word coming in, disrupt those neural pathways and those beliefs. It's like that's helping us to unlearn and to break that pattern and to help us have something different, right?
Yeah.
Is it- Okay,
Yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. What it is, when you tap on those specific points, on the specific energetic meridians, it is signaling to the brain that you're safe. So you're moving out of that fight flight into rest and repose as you are voicing these vulnerable things that your body has been perceiving as extremely dangerous, traumatic, um, shameful,
Yeah.
and proving to your brain, to your nervous system, that it is safe to voice these things out loud.
Yeah.
So you're calming the nervous system as moving through these pieces.
Yeah.
And energetically, what happens then is that it starts to move that energy that your body has been storing, holding onto as protection. It starts to move the energy, it starts to shift it, and then you release it from the body.
So how long, when you're working with people with the tapping, um, how long does it really start to take effect in the body? Is it different for each person depending? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But really, like in one for my working in group and in private sessions as well. But
Hmm.
you for sure feel the shift after one tapping experience. Well,
Yeah.
how about you for your experience in Body Brilliance? Like you were tapping and all of this information starts coming in, right?
It does. It's
Mm.
quite interesting how, it's what I found for me is it's like the same as meditation. Um, it brings me in, and it's interesting. If there's anything else that will take me back out, it's like you really have to bring yourself back in, because I found the tapping easier than meditation just because I'm actually physically doing something and I can feel it. So it's this energetic piece, and I was very tingly, like it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But just to notice, as you're saying what you're saying and you're tapping on the certain points of your body, um just how the energy starts to like you can literally feel that shift, that buzzing, that movement. And it seems like it's something so simple, but it's like I don't know, it's just like you turn something different on. And I mean, I've been in the therapy space for 3 decades, all kinds of stuff. And I what I'm seeing now is things like this. I can sit and talk to you for hours about all my things. But when I start to add things in that are going to help change those energetic pathways, not just talking about it, but those energetic pathways is like when I walk out barefoot in nature and I'm connecting to the earth and I'm listening to the birds, I'm connecting energetically differently, just like with the tapping. So, instead of running away from my body, the tapping is inviting me to come back in. And because I'm focusing on those points, I actually have to stay here.
And physically
Yes.
connecting with the
Yeah.
body. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was
Hmm.
interesting because I think the first one, like you were tapping just below here, and I was like, oh, I don't like that feel.
Hmm.
That's where all the stuff sits. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, like you're just, it's different when you're tapping here on your head or whatever, but you start to get to those places that don't feel so pretty. You're like, oh, I
Hmm.
don't like that feeling. I
I
know that.
avoid this at all costs.
I'm like, "Ooh, I don't like that. This is interesting, but if you can get past that, and you do, because it's not like you just do it one off and you wander off in life. It is something that you bring in, and you don't have to do it for very long, because we weren't doing it for very long. It's a short practice. Um, but it was really interesting on how you can really feel the physical shift and
Mhm.
the emotional shift. I was very emotional, like very, to say those things to myself as I'm tapping. I'm like, okay, like here it comes, but
Mhm.
allowing yourself, instead of going, nope, I'm strong, I'm a warrior, I don't cry, I don't deal with this, because I think that's another thing we do. Whereas tapping is opening up all these little doors and going, come on, it's okay, it's safe, we've got you. Like, setting up that container, that circle, that, place, so that we can feel safe in our bodies again, because some of us don't.
Absolutely. Yeah, and really when you tap, then you quiet that conscious mind and you get access to the din. You
Yeah.
get access to the subconscious, the din that's been living there and driving your life.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, little pieces come floating to the surface that you're like, holy shit, I've been living by this value that isn't even mine.
Yeah.
I have this belief that is has such limitation.
Yeah.
And it is such a beautiful practice because it calms the system just enough to allow things to come up, not as a traumatic experience, but just enough, just these like little bubbles coming up with information, being like, oh, I see this, I release it. Oh, I
Yeah.
see this, I release it. And
Yeah.
it is this incredibly powerful experience. And in our challenge, or yeah, in our challenge that I'm calling it, like I've been doing like 10-minute tapping
Yeah.
experiences. Really tapping, you go in 3 full rounds.
Yeah.
And by the end, I always remind the women, like, this is what alignment feels like,
Yeah.
because you feel so calm, but there's this energy and you feel connected to self. It feels like you are connected because you are to your truth, to your knowing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think, obviously, the more that you do that, and the more that that becomes part of your practice, it's easier and quicker to connect to that self. And it's such a shift, emotional shift, to get out of, also, like you said, out of that conscious mind, which our world encourages us to be in, and we step back into that, the messages and the lineage and the unconscious and all those other pieces and the knowings and the understandings. Because, like you said, we were born with that. We were born with the knowing, with the intuition, with the psychic abilities, all the things. We were all born with those different gifts,
Absolutely.
and we're not too much. We're exactly enough as we are. And, being here to experience this is really, really interesting. And we don't have to be all of these other versions that we have been, because now is we get to actually be the version that we find ourselves meeting today,
Mm-hmm.
in our very own unique way.
Mm-hmm. And who past versions of us needed.
Yeah. I think that's where some of that really deep emotional part comes in, as we realize the person we needed the most was ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can,
And we're just taught to not trust self.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, so powerful, so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just finished this beautiful container and soul circle with body brilliance. You've also got Sedona coming up this fall.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give me a quick rundown on what that is? It's October 3rd to 5th in Sedona, and you've got a group of women going. Do you still have room? What does it look like?
That was such a cool experience because I was definitely a psychic download that came through was to offer this, and it is a perimenopausal celebration. So it's just celebrating this time. There's going to be all sorts of wonderful things happening. There is space if people would like to come. It's just to be staying off site. It is sold out to be staying on site.
Okay.
But this is it's going to be a few days of connecting with self, of celebrating this time. It's gonna be very luxurious with massages and sound baths and all sorts of wonderful things in the incredible energetic portal of Sedona.
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And I think celebrate is so huge. Like celebrating one another and yourself, and this new queen era, this wisdom that has surfaced and is wanting to be witnessed and held and seen. I mean, what a great place to do that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is it too, like in our conversation, I think it's also really important to say like all of this awareness, all of this uncomfortableness, all of this coming of age, if you will, is to be celebrated as well. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's wild. Yes, we don't know what to do with it. And let's fucking celebrate it and see what happens, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you've given so many beautiful invitations. And I'm going to share all of the ways that people can get in touch with you and see the work that you're doing. Because you work with people in person, virtually, in retreat, in these beautiful pop-up groups that you're doing, all kinds of things, right? So
Yeah.
we'll make sure to share all of that amazingness so that people can, if they've got questions, they can reach out to you. They've got whatever they've got, they want to, dive in, learn more. They find themselves in this beginning of this path and knowing now they're not alone, that they are supported, and there is amazing groups and women out there for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beautiful work that you're doing too, is just creating opportunities for women to come in your incredible retreats as
Yeah.
well.
It's
And I would love to, I have body brilliance that you've experienced.
Yes.
I would love to share that with any of your listeners that come in. So if they just want to contact me and let
Yes.
me know that they want to do that, I'll send the recording their way for sure.
Amazing. That's perfect. It's a great way to get started and dip your toe in and just kind of go, okay, you get some questions answered, you get to try some new things, and you get to be in a container that feels very nurturing and safe. And, it's the start of something. And it's great. It's really great. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us today and joining us. And I look forward to many, many more conversations and experiences together.
Yeah, you bet. And thank you so much for having me.
You bet.